happy Harry Potter book night. To celebrate Harry Potter book night, of course, we need some fun snacks. And I am going to show you guys how to make some fun Hogwarts house cupcakes. So the fun part about this is you can get as creative as you want. For these, I am just using some little mini store-bought cupcakes. I took off the icing that was already on there. I need a little bit of homemade icing. I have some white icing that's gonna go on the top that's already in a baggie. And then I have just a little bit of white icing in here. What you want to do, depends on how many people are in your family. You want some food coloring. I'm just gonna use yellow here, but typically what I would recommend is doing a couple of different small containers of white icing. You can get it from the store or make it at home with powdered sugar and some milk. And do some different containers of different colors. That way, when you make your cupcakes and put icing in the middle, you eventually bite into them, you have no idea what color you're gonna get, which is gonna tell you which Hogwarts house you're gonna get sorted into. So I am mixing in some yellow here, or as yellow as I can get it. It might be a little orangey, but for these purposes, we know what we are. And I chose yellow because my Hogwarts house is actually Hufflepuff. So we've got our color mixed. Now, what we wanna do is we wanna make a slight hole in our cupcake. I just grabbed a teaspoon to kind of help me make a little hole. You don't want it to be horribly huge because you wanna be able to cover it later when we're done here so that you won't see the color. You also don't wanna go all the way down because you wanna be able to take off the wrapping here. I don't want to get too close. Take off the wrapping without everything falling out underneath. So you want to be careful, and not everyone may be as fond of icing if you're an icing person. I'm not a huge icing person, so I'm going to call that about good. Now you could put the yellow in a baggie like I did with the white. I am just going to use my spoon. I'm going to save a plastic bag, especially because I'm not putting a whole ton in, and you just want to fill the hole. So you can see I'm getting that filled. I'm gonna get just a teeny bit more. And you could also choose to use M&Ms. I feel like that would be fun. If you're just specifically doing this, not for Harry Potter, but for fun, you could use Reese's or Skittles. Now I'm using homemade icing. If you use store-bought, it's not gonna be as runny. So I'm trying to be careful not to do anything else. So it's covered, it's filled in, I should say. Now we want to cover it. So I've gotta be a bit more careful because I'm using homemade icing, but you wanna cover it. I could have used a spoon, but I decided to do it this way just because in the past, I've used store-bought icing. I didn't even think about it this time. So, if I put a bit more powdered sugar, I feel like this might set more. It may not be as runny. I wanna make sure, so I'm gonna give it a second here. So, now, if I can grab my phone here, and I'll lift up and show you. So you can't even tell what color's in there. That way when you open up the when you take off the wrapping on the cupcake, you hand it to a family member here. Which Hogwarts house are you in? They'll bite in and just find out which house they're in. So I want to know if you guys decide to do the cupcakes for fun, you do something small like this, or if you make homemade cupcakes, whatever you do, I want to see what you decide to do, or if you have another way you decide to put your family members or just yourself and your friends into a Hogwarts house. Please share them below with me.